Hi, Max.
Good morning, Daya. Good morning.
The untangling of the earbuds.
It's the modern Zen practice.
That's a good one.
You know, if you believe in reincarnation, then I believe that if you're a person, that all of these wires and things just make you go, are you kidding me? What in the heck? How can people be needing these wires? It's ridiculous. Hi, Barbara.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Or
Good
good
morning.
afternoon.
Thank you. Yes, very true. I traveled a little bit over the weekend to a friend to help her move. And when I was in the train, I also had that thought of like, it's really mad. Like even 100 years ago, like the people would have, back then, if they were sitting right now in the same train that I was sitting in, they would be like so mind blown. And it's really not too long ago.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Good. Let's have a moment to arrive together and settle into the start of the week. So just 1 or 2 minutes of silence. Hello, hello. Hi, Stephen. So good to see you. Beautiful. You know that this is the inner space of RE, or did you mean to join another call?
I thought I was going to be on a call with Mark.
Hmm,
No, wrong link.
that must be the wrong link, yeah.
Yeah.
See if there's-
That's what he just sent me.
Well, Mark should join. I love Mark.
Mark sent you this link?
Yeah, just now. He just sent it to me. I got to tell him that he sent me the wrong link. There's a call about seeds and the governance referendum and the seeds constant currency referendum going on right now.
Really?
That's what he just told me.
Okay. I
So,
think we had that conversation on Friday,
oh, he's got this.
but
I think he's got this confused. um, I'll be right back.
okay. If there is such conversation, please send a link to it. Send me a
Okay.
link.
Okay, I will.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I also thought it was Friday.
It was Friday. Yeah. We
Yeah.
had a recording and everything, but
Oh, yes, something to watch. Beautiful. Oh, goodness.
yeah.
Well, then let's check in. Let's see what happened. Well, Hostel, actually, since I already heard you, we already heard you, would you mind sharing more?
I feel pretty good today. It's not very productive day thus far. I did some stuff around some admin stuff for RE, which I should ask if someone wants to take it over. It's kind of tedious, but important because it's important. It's important to have the recordings up and links and to write down the RE111, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I also did some work for this nonprofit that I'm helping. We put up a fundraising campaign 1 week ago, week and a half ago, something like this. And it was very fun to organize. And it was also very fulfilling fun. I didn't expect it to be so fun and fulfilling to be a volunteer, like a volunteer, and actually like accept that I'm a volunteer. I don't want anything in return from this activity that I'm doing. And it's for a very good cause. My friend is working for children. She's working with children with special needs, with horses and animals, helping them integrate and all that. A lot of good work. But yeah, it kind of feels like because it's for a good cause and I'm volunteering, it kind of feels very good. And I know I'm volunteering and I don't need it in return. It's, yeah. And it's fun. But it also takes quite a bit of time to do. And I have to balance it with my other engagements. I can speak probably for another half an hour. So I think that's a good enough check-in. I'm feeling well now. I missed lunch, and so I'm a little bit of hungry, but yeah. Otherwise, are we gonna do a social meditation thing today at some point near the end? Okay, yeah, all right. How are you, Barbara?
Hi, everyone. I'm very well. I find myself in a very introspective space. This weekend here, there was a festival called the Manifestival. Have you heard of it? Man, it's beautiful. So the story is I saw something about this festival a while back. Don't ask me when, because I don't remember. My memory of this is very blurry. I remember seeing something about this festival, the logo, the website, something, or someone telling me about it after I got here. And I looked at it, I was like, wow, I would love to be there. But I remember having this feeling of inaccessibility somehow, as in, you know, I would have to travel to go to this festival, and at this point it wasn't something that I was considering. And then it was last Wednesday, I was just checking messages in a group chat from a regenerative community here, a local regenerative community that connects people in, they are really strengthening the movement here, right? Just connecting communities, connecting people who are doing regenerative work. And we meet every Friday for a co-working / talk event where we exchange ideas, we network, and we hear someone talk about regeneration from a given perspective. And then I saw the announcement that they were giving tickets away for the Manifestival. And I was like, because I'm never on Instagram. And so there was a link to go to Instagram. And so I went to the Instagram page of theirs, and I saw that there was actually a giveaway. And then I checked the Manifestival link, and I saw that it was here, like it was happening here between Playa del Carmen and Tulum, a place where we actually have these weekly regenerative gatherings. And I was like, I can't believe it. It's here, right? Okay, let's try this giveaway. And then I won the ticket. And it was a 3-day event. And at first I thought, like, because I thought it was a different event, a different kind of event. And then I went and looked in detail at their website, and it was kind of like a New Earth TED Talk event. 3 days of just listening to speakers talk about, there was someone talking about their hero's journey. There were people talking about NFTs, cryptocurrency. There were people talking about healing, space, as in space, right? And space technology and how that's being applied to a number of things. And yeah, all sorts of things. These wonderful people talking about high frequencies and where the future of the planet is headed and what it looks like, and technology applied to going in an opposite direction to what we're seeing in terms of freedom, you know, and creating abundance for everyone, and regenerative communities. It was just beautiful. So 3 days of talks. And then at the end, the performance, and I have my dogs playing right here right now. And at the end, Ina, go play outside, go. At the end, yesterday, there was a ceremony in a cenote. Is everyone familiar with the term cenote? It's a a typical natural feature in Mexico. They are these caves that are usually underground, and you find like they're like underground lakes in caves, right? And like if I were to describe the place, it's just like the epitome of stillness, you know, like just still water. I can send you pictures if you want, Max. And I've seen some cenotes, and in this property where the event happened, there was a cenote, and we had a rape ceremony. There was breathwork ceremonies. But this one we went to last night, we had to travel an hour to be there. But this thing was magnificent. Like, imagine, I can't describe this place. Like, it looked like the trees were falling from the sky, and the roots were so huge and tall. I'm talking like building height, you know, just these very straight roots falling. And we had a sound healing ceremony at night with like the sky packed with stars and mapping on the roots, like, so lights, you know, image projection on the roots. And so I came back home. It was around like 11:30 because it was an hour and a half drive back, and went to bed and woke up, and that's where I'm still, you know. It's just like I have so much gratitude in my heart. Yeah. And beautiful connections were made. A lot of messages were received, and manifestations took place. A very powerful vortex. So I have a lot of gratitude, and now I start my week just with this inner invitation to reevaluate a few things, how I'm making choices so that I can honor my personal story and the project that is dear to me, and step into my feminine energy a bit more and move away from the masculine energy, which usually takes me over, you know. So that's where I find myself. I'm going to share the link to the festival if anyone is interested. They are planning on offering this festival globally. So they're looking at Bali, I mean, any locations really. They mentioned a few locations, but they want people to participate in manifesting the next location. And so there you go. And I'm going to see if I can share a picture of last night's event at the Cenote. In the video, if you're interested. Yeah, okay. I'm just airdropping it to myself, so it's going to take a second. Okay. Right, so I'm going to share my screen, okay? Do you see that? So that's a picture, right? So here you see this reflection. This is water here. These are roots. So this is a cave. We're like, it's an open cave, right? And then the trees are up there. Yeah, and so it's curved like that. The trees are there, but then these roots, they just fall. And then you have the cave there, and this is water down here. And you see the roots like that because this is image mapping projected on the trees. And so there's a video, but the video doesn't show much because it was dark. But
go inside, closing our eyes. But of course we have the mapping, right? So you can travel to this with the mapping also. But my recommendation is when you are inside and you want to interiorize, try to feel and perceive where it's going the vibration. To drop your mind, you will start doing a slow meditation, just to drop your mind and go deeper into the experience. For the people who are on the ground, if you
there you go.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Oh. Do you want to pass it on to someone?
Yes, of course, Daya.
Wow. I don't know what to say. That was just incredible. I wish I was there, but I wasn't. Maybe in my imagination. Wow, that was just incredible. I love those roots. Let's see. Okay, me. Yeah, I've been having a lot of for like a couple weeks now, like really intense energetics, like that actually affect me physically, which I have not experienced before. And I kind of intuit a lot on a collective level at times. So I really feel like this is that, because it's not me personally within my my spectrum of what's going on in my life. So yeah, it's been a bit much actually, but the last couple of days it's felt a lot lighter, which is a huge relief. And yeah, so I'm feeling a little bit better, a little less pressure. And aside from that, it's been a really beautiful, well, here in the States, we have that ridiculous, well, it's my opinion, we have that ridiculous holiday of Thanksgiving, which luckily we've started to turn into being grateful and thankful for Gaia, for the indigenous peoples and all of that. So I celebrate it that way. And so that was on Thursday. And yeah. Don't really have a lot more to say. So thank you. And I'll pass it to Max.
Thank you all. Well, yeah, I as I said, I was helping a very dear friend of mine move, which is, she's very earthy. very earthy. So all the roots and that fits very well also to the energy that I had over the weekend. Was very yeah, rooting. But at the same time kind of floating. So it's was very, very nice weekend. And connecting with a few people again for quite a while now was also interesting and nice. And it also ignited that the introspection again more. I mean, that what already happened in the with the retreat and all that, but then going out again into a more of a reflective outer reflection process, I would say, and that again was, it's just beautiful. Like all that stuff is just, it just becomes more and more beautiful. Yeah, and I really want to just more and more soak in it, like fermentation kind of comes to mind, like just getting richer in that field, and yeah, just seeing that these, especially that picture. I mean, is that, Barbara, did you take that as a photo, or that's just that raw photo that you took? Because it looked like just almost like a painting already. Almost like there were strokes of just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Wow. If you were open to share it also on Discord with the inner space there, and that would be beautiful just to look at it. It's amazing. Yeah, and that speaks also to my like inner adventurer, child adventurer. I love these kind of places. I've never been to an actual cave like this, where in this magnitude, for me, but yeah, just climbing down such roots and that stuff, like, oh, that is my jam. And so that even that excites me. Yeah, so I'm here very rooted, calm, floaty, and kind of like that lake of just quietness, quiet and deep. That's how I feel. Yeah. As Apostle asked, we can have, we don't have to, but we can have like a social meditation towards the end, like the last 10 minutes again. God, opening Discord again, it's just yeah, if you're up for it, then it would be beautiful. And you, Apostle, if you're still there until then and willing to facilitate that, it would also be cool. Nice, great. Yeah, I mean, does anyone have something they want to share right now? Something specific? Otherwise, they can ask something. Wow. I personally am in a state where also I don't know what I'm going to do now, soonish, or towards the future or something, because I'm really I just want to stay here. and still I'm so interested in what is, what's the right word, like what is touching you, us, me. And now, having heard Barbara, you having this special weekend. Would there be something that you, but anyone would like to share as like a very moving, like something that touches you inside and moves you, sort of kind of as a guidance into a direction? Is that the right framing? Yeah, like it is almost a natural feeling of home, and therefore an attraction towards that. Yeah, Barbara or anyone.
I can talk a little bit. I've been exploring a few things, especially since my last year in China, and this inner journey that I've been taking. And I've been learning a lot about freedom, sovereignty, abundance, and deconditioning myself from a lot of things that I took on as part of a group and society, most specifically, and deconditioning from beliefs, mindsets, ways of living that come as a result. And it's like an excavation, and as I excavate and I unlearn and I decondition, I'm starting to see myself emerge in a form that is the closest to this abundant being that we all are, born to, not to become, because we are already, but to honor, to cultivate, and to see and to tap into as a fundamental source of power. And when I use the word power here, I'm talking about divine power, right? The kind of power that you share, the kind of power that you communicate around, that you build communities around, and freedom that comes from tapping into that space and power of abundance and creation and manifestation. Manifestation was the topic of the weekend, and it has been a big topic for myself as well in the last few months, especially. And I'm just in awe of the number of manifestations that have been taking place in my life, especially after moving here, because the more in alignment I am with myself, the more easily they come. And the more I am able to be in a position of co-creator of my life. And then the less things are random and, and so, yeah, I've been exploring a lot that space and understanding what is abundance and how it can show up, because then I'm also on a journey of unlearning everything that I was taught about money and learning everything that has to do with healing my relationship with it. and therefore learning about abundance as a result, and how abundance has so many languages and speaks so many languages and has so many forms and shows up in so many ways. And the more I dive into that space, again, the more it shows up for me. Just like this weekend, the number of things that I was gifted with was really beyond what I could imagine. And I want to share what I felt when I was in that space. So this cenote is so deep that you have to take how many flights of stairs? I think they were maybe between 5 and 7, because it was dark and I was distracted by the beauty of the surroundings. Even though it was dark, I had to stop, and they said we were around 50 people, and they said 4 people at a time because we want to make sure that everyone is safe, you know. And as I'm walking down, I just start seeing these roots, and I can't understand where they're coming from. I'm like, what's happening here? They're coming from the sky. What is it? And then I start looking around and trying to understand the landscape, right? The topography. And then this feeling of sacredness starts just invading my heart. And then when I get there and I look up and I sit down, and they start playing, even before they start playing, I'm just feeling this rush of divinity, you know? And then I look at the trees, and I have this thing with communicating with plants and animals, and, you know, and I find that there's a lot of wisdom in trees and roots, because, you know, like if we consider some people wise, regardless of their time on earth, but let's say, you know, like, I don't know, an 80-year-old person can be very wise, as well as a 40-year-old person. Like, that amount of time is so insignificant compared to the millions of years that, you know, some natural forms take to become what we then witness. So they carry a lot of wisdom because they've observed a lot. They've gone through so many processes. And so I find that there's an energy of wisdom and with roots, especially, and the size of those roots you saw, right? Yeah, and so I was there, and then I heard, as I'm just having this, like, I can feel it right now. I feel like I'm in a sacred space, and I feel that divinity inside me, and it's like a communion with source, right? And then I hear, as I'm looking at the roots, I hear, do you see how much I love you? And it was the Divine Mother, you know, speaking, saying, this is what I have created for all of you as a testament to how much I love you, you know? And that is the ultimate abundance, you know? So this is the space where I am right now. There's so much to feel, you know? And Max, I really appreciate how at peace you are with cultivating that space, and just with no attachment or negative energy of any sort. Just say, I enjoy being in this space. I have no idea what I'm going to do. I just want to be here. And I want to thank you for that, because this is the space I'm constantly called towards. But as I was saying earlier, there's a deconditioning process that I have been going through of, you know, stepping away from finding my worth in busyness, in doing, in achievement, in, you know, action. And we talked a lot about this weekend. We talked a lot about many things, but this was one of them. Like how we were conditioned to feel guilty for not doing anything. And it's actually a tool that's used against our need to go inwards, right? Because if we go inward, the more inward we go, the more sovereign we become. This world doesn't want sovereignty. I'm going to stop here. Thank you.
Thank you so much again. I just love your words. Thank you so much. Beautiful, beautiful. I just want to also hang on there to say, like, really the only sovereignty that I can say I've ever witnessed and feel like is true is the own sovereignty. I always have a what's right, like cringe feeling when I hear like food sovereignty and all of this, because that already kind of implies that we could do it on our own, but we are so dependent on that earth. So there is not a real sovereignty, only that inside. That's really also something I hope to uphold in any moment of my life, that I can have that in me. And that's kind of a very guiding principle. Yeah, let's say guiding principle for myself. And then when these thoughts come, and with that I will pass it into Apostle, of like, I'm not productive and I haven't done anything. Like, this is so, it's such a typical thought, no? So yeah, I mean, Apostle, if you wouldn't mind sharing about that, like, because I know that too, and like, what does that mean for you?
Yeah, I guess you can see these internal, these external forces that we think how they are out there are kind of like in here. Like capitalism is someone like out there, right? But it's not. Capitalism is the need to always produce, and you have that need and to ship. And I'm not saying that capitalism is that need to produce and to ship is bad. It most of the things around me have been produced and shipped, and so at some post, but at some time, right? We're using this technology that we have because of capitalism. We wouldn't be here. Kind of if it hasn't been that entrepreneurial need to not only to create something, but to create something that other people value more than their money in an efficient way. So yeah, I wonder if if this has to do, if this need for creation, where historically, where did, I think it may have started even with the, but people, I'm thinking too fast and talking too slow. Oh, yeah. Hmm. Hmm. It was very interesting to notice Barbara's saying about how money works, and to actually think about that, and it's been also an exploration for me as well to getting into the cryptocurrency space is a little bit of a window into this financial world that you otherwise don't have. I think someone told me, I don't know if it's true, but someone told me recently, a week or 3 ago, that there were intentional lobbying from what some people call the industrialists, so that economics is removed from basic education. So the people who are educated in the schools don't learn about it, which was a little bit of frightening when I heard it. I need to check it out if there is actual, but I don't know, maybe some conspiracy theory, or maybe, but I have, it's not something unbelievable for me. That and this kind of how the market forces are forcing you to put a number on the services that you offer to the world, to what you create. And how do you make up that number? Yeah, because pricing is very different. Pricing is so ridiculous. There is a blog post by this, I don't know why I'm saying that. There is a blog post by this software developer guy who is pretty famous on the internet, but at one point he started consulting companies how to create basically email funnel for their products. So he went into the company and created the email funnels. And big corporations, we're talking about big corporations, right? And at some of his clients, he accidentally put a zero at the end. This is not a joke. He accidentally put a zero at the end of what he was quoting. He was quoting for 1,500 USD, and he put in the email 15,000, and the client just paid it, like no questions asked. and you know, sometimes it's that ridiculous, you know. And it puts a big question mark on actually how do you value your own time, commitment, motivation, education, skill, craft. So it's not somehow I don't know how it should be even. How do you do that in a correct way? I guess, yeah. Yeah. I've had a lot of time in my life. I have been valuing myself, my self-worth on my productiveness, basically. How much how much software I can create if I spread myself very thin and work a lot. Because I should like be very, yeah. But it's also not only a personal thing, because it's a social thing as well. These companies are so good that they embed there is an implicit function that's running in the back of everybody's mind, basically, that is doing putting people in hierarchies, and you're not, most of the time you're not aware of it. And the way people dress, talk, act, what kind of trinkets do they have, are people who perceive them are kind of naturally doing that calculation and basically putting them above or below them, or kind of the same level. That's rough terms. It can be a lot more complicated, but yeah, the very good products have a way to get into that human instinct, basically. It's so deep, and it's most of the time it's not accidental. There are psychologists or designers that are doing this, and yeah. So that's basically, that's questioning and contemplating even the regenerative work that we're doing here is like, on what percentage are you embodying regeneration in your activities, in your products that you buy, and things that you listen to, things that you give your attention to, and at what percent are you embodying exploitation, and how do you say that, exploitation? Yeah, that's the proper pronunciation. And yeah. Yeah, I guess you can ask that for your own body and mind and, you know, actions. And you can also ask it for an organization and, yeah, cryptocurrency. But then then that's a very complicated question if you want to get into the details. What % of that is in your power to change? Even if you want to change it towards better, what % of that is in your power to change it? And yeah. I feel I've been talking for a long time and for a couple of different things, probably. So I'll pass it on to whoever wants to. Whoever feels something alive in themselves that wants to take that further.
I do have many connections to what you brought. Also, like I mean, you kind of talked about everything, kind of. So it fits in everywhere. But yeah, especially for the space in the bubble of seeds, it's definitely yeah, when we direct it towards having a product, even if the product is us ourselves, it's actually it's just such a small part of the whole thing, of the whole yeah, ecosystem that is around that, and that is the same as us, our, like, who we are. Who we are is also just like, you know, who we think we are is just like the small package in this vast space of just possibilities and things, and it's all active and reactive, and so it's very hard to pinpoint like the starting point. You know, where does it really all begin? Where do we begin to define the value of a product? And all of that stuff. And where do you begin to define the value of yourself? Where do you begin to define regeneration? Like, what does that even mean? I have had this question many times in Spaces and Seeds. I was like, what does it even mean? Like, have we even defined what regeneration is? And I don't feel like we really have. And I also doubt that it's actually really possible as like a, you know, as like umbrella thing that just covers all of it, because it's so individual as we are individuals. But the systems we have built in our minds, and now also outside here, like economics and all of that, they all try to define it more. They try to bring order to this chaos, I would say. Like, it's kind of having that frame. And that's why we go out and it's just my words, by the way, like this is not the truth or anything. It's just that blah, blah, blah. But that's why we go out and then have to define a number to make it really easy and simple to evaluate anything, to give value to something, and then be able to, as a customer, say like, ooh, that person costs 1,500, must be a good job, but this person there, 15,000, I mean, this guy must be the crack. I mean, wow, okay, we're going to take the 15,000 because this one is a really good one. And that's just, you know, how we start to influence ourselves, like one another, to just believe in a value, to believe in certain things that then in turn condition us more and more to go towards certain beliefs and directions that in turn shape the world outside, that comes back to us again and influences us, and then becomes so entangled and so that you don't know anymore where it all began. But that's why I personally was always drawn to well, yeah, spirituality, towards like the thing behind all of it. Because this world, yeah, just this whole world is just so, it's, for me, it's just so relative. I mean, there is a certain substance to it, there is a certain consistency to it, but it's all dependent on something. Like yeah, I cannot view anything without having something else there as well. Like, I always have to be there. That's why it's such a, for me, it has been a beautiful practice, the non-duality, because there at least they put attention towards that hey, I mean, it's cool that this stuff is all happening and you can see like the most amazing shit going on and angels coming down and devils fighting or some, but you are there, no, you are here seeing all of that. And just this alone gives it power. This alone gives it value, that we are here experiencing it, being aware of it. And everything else is just how it plays out, how it just dances. And yeah, and this vast sea of just, for me, beauty. Like, this is just, oh my goodness, once you see that, and it's just like going and flowing, and it's, oh, so amazing. But it's only so amazing because I can be here and see that. Yeah, and maybe at some point I'm so bold to just say like, yes, you can pay me 15,000 for 1 hour or whatever. And I feel like this is part of what is needed right now. This is part of what is happening right now, without having to believe that I need to create it, to believe that I am the one who needs to create something, to do something, to define anything, because actually it's already happening. right in here. And that's why it can be so easy and just like, hey, actually, you know, I just want to sit here, you know, I'm just here. Yeah, I'm very grateful that this is possible for me right now. And that I am, it's like I'm given the what's the right word? I'm not given words, but I'm given
Meaning?
no, that comes then after. I'm given
Opportunity.
what is that? What is that? No.
Form.
It's sort of
Space, a container.
it's that before. It's that before. Let's
Spark.
call it something.
Spark.
Ooh, that's maybe a bit closer. I just wanted to say like maybe I can just say like it's grace, like something you can't explain, but it's just it doesn't feel like my accomplishment, and it's nothing in particular. It's not something that I've been given, but just grace, because it doesn't feel like I'm here holding myself in this place. Like I don't feel like I'm holding myself here. So something supports me in being here. And so then yeah, let's call it grace. Yeah, so that was me.
There was something I wanted to say about what you just shared, and I got lost in keeping track of it. Oh, yes, regeneration. I love what you said, and I took note. Regeneration is as individual as we are. I've been thinking a lot about regeneration and taking notes of my thoughts myself, with the idea of maybe writing about it. You know, what is regeneration? And so it is a topic that I would love to explore collectively. Maybe we can dedicate, if everyone is interested, obviously, we can dedicate one session to exploring what is regeneration. From I see two basic perspectives. I see human regeneration and I see planetary regeneration. Not that there aren't other types, just that I find that these two are a good start to begin exploring what regeneration is. And then I just started thinking of how they unfold right afterwards. And I started like just writing topics around what it means to foster human regeneration. And I love what you said, because that's a beautiful guiding principle to talk about both, but especially human regeneration. It is as individual as we are, because to me, regeneration has to do with rebirth. It has to do with working with something that has undergone some sort of degenerative process looking at it and bringing it back to its wholeness. But this idea of degeneration and the idea of wholeness, they depend on self-awareness and awareness in general. And so I can only see as much as I can see, and I can only go as deep as I can go, right? So regeneration will mean completely different things for completely different people, right? And it's proportional to their ability to see, to become aware of these degenerative processes that they've been through. And then I think it starts with identifying our extractive behaviors and ways of thinking and acting in the world. It has a lot to do with unlearning from that place, I find, of self-awareness. And then how can I go back to my wholeness, right? So yeah, I think it's a journey back to wholeness, regeneration, be it with a human being or the planet. It's that journey back to sovereignty. I am whole. And I am in a state of wholeness from which I bloom endlessly, right? Yeah, we could use like a metaphor of a plant that I find, and I know that the size is smaller than it can be, or the leaves are not as healthy as they could be, or, you know, the plant is contained in a pot, so we have to get rid of the pot first. And you know, I love something that a friend once shared with me that blew my mind. That was years ago. We were talking about plants and how much we love plants. And we were in a yoga studio where we used to work back in Canada, and where we had loads of plants, and we're watering the plants and talking about how to take care of each of them. And then she's like, you know, this is like a plant zoo. And I'm like, what are you saying? Well, plants are not supposed to be in pots. They're supposed to be free. And I'm like, wow, you know. And I had, at that point, I had like 33 plants at home, because before I was a nomad. Now it's difficult, but and then I looked at my plants. I was like, oh, I couldn't breathe. I looked at my plants in their pots and I couldn't breathe. And then she also taught me about leaves. You know, I was constantly getting rid of the yellow leaves, you know, and then she's like, let them decide when it's time to let go. And I'm like, wow, that's so beautiful. Let them decide when it's time to let go. And when it's time to let go, whatever they let go of will compost and re-nourish and regenerate, you know, wholeness. So yeah, that has taught me a lot, those two things, the pots and the yellow leaves. I would love to talk about regeneration at a certain point.
I guess if the plant is healthy, then there is this natural cycle of letting go and composting and growing, and you know, but there are situations in which the plant may have some bugs, or it may have some poison from some factory that is poisoning the ground or whatever. So in that case, like, the most regenerative thing could be to just stop putting the poison in the ground and let the plants, or remove the poison from the system, and yeah, and then let the whatever living beings are affected by it to recover by their natural capacities. Yeah, that is also connected with the human part. So if the human has learned that they have no value, that people don't care about them, or their caretakers don't care about them, and it's and they're conditioned, like, this conditioning is there in their tissues, which is usually how it works. Then you need to have that process of first for them to learn how to let go of that conditioning, how to deconstruct it and release it, and then just to let them naturally come, move into a state of more wholesome wholeness, which doesn't mean that before that they were not whole. It means that, yeah, it's like that metaphor that Buddhism is talking about. Everybody is enlightened, but it's like a blue sky and there are clouds sometimes, and you don't get to see the blue sky from the clouds. Basically. It's kind of like everybody it's kind of like a paradox, like everybody is whole and everybody is enlightened, but there is also like orders of realization of that, and there is also orders of wholeness of that, of and but that doesn't mean that the people who are more realized or have done more healing work, are more whole, are more than the people who have not. It's like, it's kind of like a paradox. Yeah.
We are at 22. So I still want to ask Daya if you would like to share something, had some thoughts.
Uh-oh. I'm glad you give me a time limit, Max. Do you do that on purpose? No, it was really beautiful to listen. And I'm just gonna share the let me see. Yeah, it's not drippy. Okay. I'm just gonna share the art piece, and I'm trying to name it, but at the moment it has to do with it has to do with the paradox. Maybe that's just enough right there. Right. Yeah. Yeah, Apostle, and I feel you deeply. And it's so complex, and it's so interwoven, and it's such a long time in a linear time framework, that to try to talk about it is why the complexity, I think, are a big piece of what the complexity is all about. Yeah, and why and what and how we've gotten here from our original, or our origin. If I could sum it up in a sentence, I mean, it isn't someone else, it's us. We've taken ourselves on a journey, and the whys and the reasons, yeah, are infinite. But I think that our original selves, would classify us in that category of indigenous beings. I mean, we were one with nature, and one with all the wisdom that Barbara is also bringing to our attention. And we went off on this gallant, crazy exploration, which has brought us to all sorts of things, that have shown us all sorts of things. And now we're at a turning point again, as to how are we going, and what are we going to choose. And yeah, it's it's a paradox. That's all I can say. And it's incredible. I feel it's an incredible place that we've found ourselves now, if we're comprehending a bit of this whole vast picture. So I guess my message would be, don't judge yourself. Don't judge it at all. You just find that that place within you that is is the place that the origin comes from, is the place of all knowing, and that's the value of what we embody. And yeah, it's time to realize, I think, really realize that we are the embodiment of all that is the universal magnificence. As hard as that is, maybe for a lot of people to grasp. And that will take us where we want to go. If we want to go toward wholeness, so to speak, the wholeness that we already are, if we want to embody and live it. Yeah, that's what I have to bring. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Daya. And yeah, I mean, we don't have time for the social meditation, but I feel like we already kind of did it. Kind of did it now. And yeah, thank you, Daya. That was beautiful. Thank you. Then everything becomes so easy and non-paradoxical. If we just do what you said. So I would love to have next week about, well, what is regenerative in our context, at least, as you said, with human and planetary. I would love to explore that together. So let's do that next week.
Cool.
Cool.
Thank you for that beautiful reminder, Daya.
Oh, it was all of us.
I was trying to remember this quote from Ram Dass. We're all just walking ourselves home,
Yeah,
something like this.
Yeah.
Right?
yeah. That's what he
Yeah.
said.
Yeah.
Hand,
Have
and
a
let's
great
do it.
week.
Let's do it hand in hand. Let's just do it.
Yeah.
No pushing.
No pulling, no pushing. Gently, happily walking.
Oy.
Oh.
Who's that?
This is Baz.
Us.
Yeah,
Buzz.
Baz.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
Oh,
Bye, guys.
Soon, lovely people.
thank you so much.
Mm.
Bye-bye.
Bye.